Welcome along to the 6th programme of 8 in the 2013 Toyo Tyres BRSCC Porsche Championship, which comes to you today from Oulton Park in Cheshire.
We're talking to Arjo Ghosh. Arjo, it's going to be an interesting one this, just as the whistle goes. You ready for it?
Yeah, well, I'm really ready for it actually, really up for it today. Should be a good race.
Are we looking for a good top 6 finish here today?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm going to make up 2 places from the start.
Oh, there's a man with ambition. Good luck.
Cheers, guys.
6 out of 6 poles for Richard Styron, Ian Loggie alongside, then Will Sharp and Adam Croft on row 2, Steve Boyles and John Greensmith followed by Steve Brown and Arjo Josh on row 4. Row 5, Nick Hull with Sean Siddle next to him, then Chris Valentine, production pole Michael Goodacre, and behind him Rebecca Jackson. 924 front runner is Alistair Kirkham, then Simon Hawksley and Hen Sharp, David Jones and Anthony McVinsky on row 9, followed by John Broadley and Carl Rossin. Philip Waters next with Mark Rocco, then Linda Warren, welcome back to the championship Linda, Hugh Peart, Andrew Presswell, Clive Morrison and Peter Smith completing a very healthy 27 car grid here at Oulton Park. Some championships at this stage of the season have the numbers drop away. We tend to get drivers coming back and new drivers coming in. Such is the structure and organisation in the championship, so very, very good to see. A lot of fun to be had, a lot of camaraderie in the paddock, and we're getting ready for what is round 14 of 20 in this year's championship. Richard Styron leading the Boxsters, Alistair Kirkham leads the 924 chase, and Rebecca Jackson in charge at the moment in the production Boxsters. And away we go, Arjo Josh looking to make up 2 places as you heard in the start, passes Will Sharp in 66, going down into Old Hall Corner for the first time. This is the view from Jonathan Greensmith, who looks like he's had a good start as well. Through Old Hall, down Cascades, and Richard Styron gets away. Ian Loggie in 2nd place. Loggie, of course, sponsor to Richard Styron, so cracking start by all. Nick Hull in the Union Flag livery car, Rebecca Jackson I think getting away well too in the productions, but it's Richard Styron. This is what he's been doing pretty much most of the season, apart from the first race of the year when he had that mechanical failure at Rockingham. Getting away, that's Arjo Josh! Not the way to make up 2 places on the start. Oh, nasty hit, we hate to see that. Looks like the safety equipment's done the job in the car, kept him safe and sound. Marshall's on the scene very quickly as we look at Nick Hull heading down into Britain's for the first time. Arjo extricates himself from the car and sadly from the race. Just having a quick look back at Arjo's statistics over the year. That's his first non-finish so far this year. So on board with Stephen Brown, working hard. The drivers today using the full international circuit here at Oulton Park, and a major challenge for them. Climbing up Clay Hill towards Druids Corner. Styron from Loggie at the moment. 3rd place is Steve Boyles in 77. Then Jonathan Greensmith. There is Adam Croft in car number 5, followed by Will Sharp in 66. Under the bridge now, coming towards us at Lodge Corner, and Sharp's making a move, looks down the inside. Is there room there? Oh, there's contact between the 2. Croft spins around. Oh, it's a nasty hit. For Croft, bonnet up, that is going to be race over for Adam Croft, as into the pits comes Steve Brown in car 60. Steve's first DNF of the year as well. This is not working out for the drivers who haven't had any retirement so far this year. So Jonathan Greensmith putting pressure at the moment. Now we go back to the 924s. Hen Sharp leading that from Simon Hawksley at the moment, but Richard Styron starting to pull away. Yes, and unsurprisingly that means Adam Croft safe and well out of the car, but that's going to be scant consolation for him with the damaged machine, which he'll have to try and get out for race number 2. Greensmith still putting the pressure on. There's Will Sharp. closing in as well at the moment in 5th place. So on board with Jonathan Greensmith, you can see the race leaders in the distance at the moment. Styring continuing to pull away. Ian Logie having his home meeting here, comes from Tarpley. But Jonathan Greensmith at the moment 4th position and working hard, and perhaps not unexpectedly the safety car being deployed, and the driver who potentially loses out here is Richard Styring, who, as we said, starting from his 6th pole position of the year, was beginning to build a bit of a lead. This is going to eat into the 20 minutes racing time that these cars get, as Richard's acknowledged the yellow flags, and he's slowing the field down. He won't have any big problems at all with the starts. There's Michael Goodacre, who leads the production Boxster class, ex-kart racer in his first season of car racing with us, and Michael taking his first production pole position this weekend, so he was very, very pleased with that. So on board with Jonathan Greensmith, past the stricken car of Adam Croft, which you can see is on turn 16 of Oulton Park, Lodge Corner, so some recovery work to do. Richard Styring, I think, pleased to see Ian Logie, who's in the red and white car behind him this weekend. Ian potentially going to nick some championship points off of him, but Ian, of course, sponsor to Richard, and Richard's always made a point of saying to me, make sure you thank Logson Group for their sponsorship for me this year, because I couldn't go racing without them, and it's been a very good defensive championship defence campaign for Richard Styring this year in the Taylor Foundry Motorsport car. Ian Logie, who was actually racing a week ago. There's a replay of what happened. Stephen Brown, you can see, going into Adam Croft, pretty much unsighted there. No blame can be apportioned. The spin caused by the coming together of the two cars into the corner.
Stephen Brown seems to have not come round either.
Now, whether there was a gap inside or not, of course, for Will Sharp will be determined by the championship stewards. Now, going back to Ian Logie, who's in the 2nd place car there. Ian was racing in the GT Cup Championship last weekend on the Grand Prix circuit at Silverstone, and had a tap in race number 1 there, and did a great recovery drive. And race 2, unfortunately, involved in a big smash. So this is going to be a big confidence boost for him to get back as Adam Croft's car is towed away from the circuit and back to safety, and hopefully the guys are going to be able to get to work back on the car and potentially get it out for the next race, although things aren't looking necessarily positive there for the Cubic backed driver.
So thank you for the confirmation of that. That's one that we...
So the marshals, who do a sterling job for us, weekend in, weekend out, getting that car recovered, and the recovery boys as well, of course, separate operations going on. And a chance for the drivers just to calm the nerves a little bit and get going. Here's Michael Goodacre, who comes through in the lead of the productions. There's Hen Sharp, currently leading the 924s from Simon Hawksley, with Rebecca Jackson second in the 924, sorry, in the production Porsches at the moment, and Alistair Kirkham in 3rd place after taking his 2nd pole position of the year. So we'll see whether Alistair can maybe improve on that. The other battle-scarred car, Arjo Josh, parked up, you can see, on the other side of the circuit, the 44 car. Arjo 6 in the championship, and would have been looking at overhauling J.M. Littman, who's no longer with us. There is car number 3, Simon Hawksley, who is 3rd in the 924 standings at the moment. 924 championship led by Alistair Kirkham by 27 points from Clive Morrison. Now, Clive not racing this weekend, so an opportunity for Simon Hawksley to move back into 2nd place in the championship. Simon's been consistently the driver who scores the most fastest laps. Safety car light still on here in this 20-minute race for the BRSCC Toyo Tyres Porsche Championship. Steve Boyle's the only other driver apart from Richard Styring to have won a race earlier on in the year. He's pretty much an ever-present in the top 4. The only driver, I think, to have started and finished all the races thus far, Steve Boyle, so very consistent. Second in the championship on 215 points. Will Sharp third on 214. But of course, consistency, whilst it is important, is taken into account with this championship, with 3 drop scores over the course of the year, which means you can drop effectively one of the meetings, or if you're doing the whole lot, as Steve Boyles appears to be doing, then you can drop away the worst finishes or non-finishes from those. Lights are out on the safety cars. They're about to go racing here again at Oulton Park. Cars being paced by Richard Styrin up towards our camera at Lodge Corner. So Richard may well drop back a little bit from the safety car here, just to back up the field, and then when he's ready he'll go. But it's his teammate Ian Logie right behind. This is the view from Jonathan Greensmith, running at the moment back in 4th position, the yellow car. Will Sharp behind him, then Nick Hull. So safety car back in, and Richard Styrin makes, by my reckoning, a very good start. Inch perfect by Styrin, who leads away once again down into Old Hall and into the avenue. Ian Logie in 2nd place. 3rd position is Steve Boyles. Jonathan Greensmith running in 4th place at the moment. Michael Goodacre has got a little bit of breathing space between himself and Rebecca Jackson. There's Will Sharp, who's got to give chase again here. So approximately halfway through this first 20-minute race here at Oulton Park. Round 14 of the championship, very much underway. And Richard Styrin doing what he's done all year. He's got the fastest lap thus far as well. Who can beat him? I wonder if anybody can. Join us after the break to find out.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to Oulton Park, round 14 of the 2013 Toyo Tyres BRSCC Porsche Championship. And after a lengthy safety car to recover the machine of Adam Croft, and also, well, Steve Brown wasn't recovered. He went into pit lane after his incident. We also lost Arjo Josh on lap 1, but the safety car now back in, and we're racing again and looking at 66 Will Sharp starting to put pressure on Jonathan Greensmith at the moment. Richard Styrin away in the lead. It was a very well judged restart from Styrin, and we've no real reason to doubt that we've done anything but that. He's had the fastest lap in all bar 2 of his finishes so far this year. So after a non-finish in race 1 at Rockingham, where he must have thought, oh goodness me, how is this defence going to go, he's really piled on the pressure. He's broken all sorts of Toyo Tyres Championship records on the way during the course of the season. The most number of consecutive wins period, the most number of consecutive wins in a season, and the most number of wins also in the championship as well, overcoming Dave Clark, who set the records in the first couple of years. There's Hen Sharp at the moment, leading from Alistair Kirkham. So Alistair Kirkham's got himself up into 2nd position. Simon Hawksley is 3rd in the 924s, but very close between the 3 of them. Back with Jonathan Greensmith, who's still putting the pressure on as the cars go through Cascades and along the avenue. Or Lakeside, I should check. It's Lakeside, isn't it? Going through Lakeside into Island Bend and up to Shell Oil's corner. Steve Boyles again still under that pressure. Ian Logie goes through in 2nd position. Steve Boyles in 3rd from Jonathan Greensmith. And Richard Styrin still up front and pulling away, building that lead. Goes through Britons, climbs up over Hilltop, and then the run down into Hislops. Bit of a problem there for Nick Hull, who just has a very small off, but gets back on very quickly indeed. Jonathan Greensmith is passed. So Jonathan Greensmith passed by Will Sharp. Sharp's through. Greensmith now, from challenging Boyles, has got to try and get the place back. So Will Sharp in his first full season, ex-MG racer, joined us at the Donington Park round last year with his brother Hen. racing in the 924s. They've been a very good addition to the championship. So there is Will Sharp. Will qualified third on the grid, so he's effectively getting himself back up to where he probably thinks he should be from that starting position. So Sharp running well at the moment, the 66 car, the man from Radcliffe-on-Trent. There is Ian Loggy, as we said, local driver, very much enjoying his racing. And we've got a new leader now, Alistair Kirkham up front, Hensharp down to second in the white 924. And then Simon Hawksley, third position at the moment in the 924s. So Alistair Kirkham, this is going to be great news for him. It's going to be an extension of his championship lead. He's had 5 wins so far. Michael Goodacre looking for his first win in the productions as we go back to Ian Loggy in car number 2, still running hard from Steve Boyles. Boyles, who, as we said, has had a very good few podiums this year and looks like he's on for another one, unless Will Sharp can get back on his tail. But Jonathan Greensmith trying to put him under pressure as well. Out of Shell Oils, down into Britons once again. You can see Greensmith really working the car pretty hard. The 28 machine, 38-year-old from Hillsborough, ex-Mazda champion, wanted to move on. So here is Ian Loggy, who can jump around between cars. You've got to say, a very versatile driver, Ian, an ex-triathlete, so physical fitness clearly important to Ian, and that really does come across to the racing that you see him do. Back with the 924s, and Hensharp down to third. He's got some, now is that bodywork rubbing on the car? So down to third place, Hensharp. So first and second are second and third in the championship 924 wise, but I think that's going to change for race 2. Simon Hawksley will make it up to second in the championship here. Off goes Peter Smith in the 924s. So waved yellows there, just alerting the drivers to a problem. Marshall coming over with the fire extinguisher in case, and it really does look like problems, doesn't it, for Hensharp. Hen, who opened up his campaign this year with first position in round 1 at Rockingham, and in fact took a double win at Rockingham and a double win too at Silverstone for race 2. But Richard Styron, fastest man on circuit, a 1:56.687 set on lap 6. He leads. Here's the battle for the 924s. Now, Alistair Kirkham looks to me like he's coming under pressure from Simon Hawksley. Hawksley's got the fastest lap, but running in second position at the moment. Back to the scrap for second. Ian Loggy still coming under pressure from from Steve Boyles. Jonathan Greensmith still putting the pressure on as well. Philip Waters goes through shot. There is Hensharp dropping back down the order in 64. Difficult race for Hen. Missed a couple of rounds as well. Actually missed the trip over to Zandvoort, and also a couple of races at Brands Hatch after the problems that he had there. But no problems for the reigning champion and championship leader for this year, Richard Styron, again showing his way around the field. Ian Loggy coming back to the championship will take points away from Richard Styron's chasers, and here comes Styron, clear circuit behind him, and he's had that most of the year. It's Ian Loggy who's going to take a return to the podium. Ian had second and sixth position in the 2 races 2 and 3 at Rockingham this year, so no stranger to the Toyo Tyres podium. But Richard Styron through Lodge Corner, down through Deerleap, and he'll climb up to see the checkered flag waiting for him at the end of the straight. And there it is, it's a win for Richard Styron and Taylor Foundry Motorsport, his 13th win of the year. Crosses the line, Jonathan Greensmith putting pressure on Will Sharp, but Will Sharp is going to hang on to 4th place. Nick Hull will be 5th. Here is Michael Goodacre, who's going to take his first win in the productions, up ahead of car number 88. That's Chris Valentine in the full race Boxsters, but Michael Goodacre is going to get his first win. Rebecca Jackson still running second in class, Alistair Kirkham and Simon Hawksley in between Michael Goodacre and Rebecca Jackson. Can't see Rebecca behind. There comes Michael. It's a win for him. There's the checkered flag. He's going to be absolutely delighted about that, Michael Goodacre. Chris Valentine follows him across the line. Alistair Kirkham wins the 924s again. Kirkham's 6th win of the year from Simon Hawksley, who will go into 2nd position in the 924 standings. So confirmation of the top 6, Richard Styron from Ian Loggy, Steve Boyle's 3rd, then Will Sharp and Nick Hull, Sean Siddle in 6th place. Richard Styron also, of course, picking up the fastest lap of the race. And there's a very happy Richard on the podium.
So the top 3 drivers from the first race of the day. First turning to you, Rich. It's one of those very easy races at the front, perhaps?
It looks like that from the outside, but it's definitely not inside the car. Oulton Park's a very, very difficult track, and the margin for error is very small. So all 3 of us were completely on it, so it's a lot harder than it looks.
And Ian behind you was pushing you all the way, not letting you have an inch.
Yeah, Ian helps me out sponsoring, which is fantastic, but as a driver, he's come on so far. Another 6 months, God only knows.
Well, turning to you then, Ian, in 2nd place. You look pretty happy with 2nd, but surely it can't be long before you put one over on him.
Yeah, I'd like to get one over on him at some point. So maybe next season, if we can close the same gap from last season, then we might be there. But it was a great race. Thoroughly enjoyed it. When the safety car comes out, it gives you a bit of a breather. But the race didn't seem to be too long. But it was great.
Okay, well done, Ian. I'm going to turn to the man you battled with for 2nd place, Stephen. Very close encounter between you and Ian. He's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was just I was getting that gap towards the end, and hopefully next race I can do the job.
And perhaps there's an opportunity you can get closer to Rick off the start, and who knows from there.
I had a good start this time. Went from 5th to 3rd off the start, so let's see if we can do another one.
In the 924s, another win for Alistair Kirkham, Simon Hawksley in 2nd, and David Jones completing the podium. Michael Goodacre's 1st win, as we said in the productions, and Rebecca Jackson does her championship lead. No harm at all with 2nd place in that class.
Well, with me is the winner from the 924s class of the last race, Alistair Kirkham. Alistair, that was a bit hectic, wasn't it?
It was. It was my own fault at the start. I got an unbelievably poor start. Loads of wheel spin, just didn't go anywhere. So I ended up 3rd. And then it was a bit fraught on the first 2 laps. There was a little bit of passing and repassing going on. It was all good, clean stuff. And then the safety car came out. And unfortunately, a huge accident for Adam Croft in the Boxster at Lodge Corner. And we seemed to be then in the train behind the safety car. Security car. Start again. We seemed to be in the train behind the safety car forever. And my little clock on the dashboard said that there was only about 7.5 minutes to go by the time the safety car came in. So I knew that was going to be, 4 laps. And I managed to pass both Simon and Hen, I think about 2 laps. I think it was on the 2nd lap after the restart. And brought it home, really. But Simon was giving me a hard time on the last couple of laps. He wouldn't leave me alone. He was right there on my back bumper. And but it was good, though. Yeah, I was relieved to see the checkered flag after all that carnage.
Well, one man who picked his way through the traffic to wrap up the Boxster production win, it's Michael Goodacre. That was a bit of a tough race for you, wasn't it?
Chris kept me honest, that's for sure.
Now, there may only been 2 of you out there, but Rebecca's a formidable opponent. That was an interesting battle to beat her, wasn't it?
It was, definitely. It's been a long time coming, a lot of effort's gone in to get here, so yeah, it was worth it.
Now, obviously there was a lot of carnage going on in that last race. How do you sort of meld your way through it? Is there a particular strategy for dodging the carnage, or do you just...
I think I was just lucky.
Crunch your fingers?
I was just lucky on that one, for sure, yeah.
So how are we going to manage that in race 2? Can we push a little bit closer to the main championship, boys?
We'll give it a go. There's always a first time for anything, for sure. The car's going well, so yeah, it's possible.
Some of the biggest upheavals in American sports is in the world of motor racing, especially sports car racing. There's mergers, new series being proposed, audiences coming and going, drivers getting younger and younger. That's why you need the Racing Insiders on MAV TV to help you navigate the turmoil. The Racing Insiders is a new, weekly, 30-minute news show covering sports car racing, whether it's being done professionally, globally, or by the local grassroots club. Award-winning journalist Bill Wood will host the weekly discussions, along with race-winning insiders Peter Keene in Florida and Jim Daniels in Tennessee. It's a fast-paced, edgy sports show. They'll even reach out to guest insiders to bring you behind-the-scenes insider information you'll want to know. This new era in sports car racing needs the Racing Insiders.
The Racing Insiders on MAV TV, Thursdays at 2 and 5 p.m. Eastern, and again on Saturdays at noon.
Welcome back to Oulton Park, where, as ever, the MSV and BRSCC team have put on a superb day of action for the spectators. Attractions not only on track but off circuit as well. Very sadly, though, as you saw in race 1, a lot of damage. Some drivers loaded up, including Adam Croft. We look forward to seeing him at Cadwell Park.
Now, you guys have found a way to have a bit of an entertaining time throughout the course of the season. I noticed you're sporting a very interesting top. Some of these photographs have gone around Facebook. Can you tell us a bit about Race Face?
Yeah, Richard Styring ended up posting a picture on Facebook of his race face, which is him in his pink and his lovely pink tank top there.
Very lovely face that is.
Which started a whole thing going, and obviously we've got cats, we've got my impression of Wallace and Gromit, we've got Steve Potts, who couldn't be here this weekend because he's in Johannesburg. So hello, Steve. Steve Brown with his out with his tool on the t-shirt, and Hen Sharp's brother Alfie's t-shirts. He's printed them all and supplied everybody that was involved in it. So so just a bit of fun, and there's a lot of camaraderie. It's a great club from a point of view of people getting involved, and all the drivers have a good laugh with each other, and the build up to the races is always interesting. Somebody posts something, so it's all good-hearted banter. So just a bit of fun, isn't it? That's the main thing.
Richard Styring on pole and Ian Logie alongside. Then it's Steve Boyles and Will Sharp fourth. Nick Hull and Sean Siddle next. Then Chris Valentine and Steve Brown. Arjo Josh 9th. 11th is Jonathan Greensmith and Michael Goodacre production pole. Rebecca Jackson behind him. Alistair Kirkham 924 pole with Simon Hawksley and David Jones 16th. Anthony McVinsky and Cole Ross in next. And then it's Phil Waters and Hugh Peart, Linda Warren and Hen Sharp, Pete Smith, John Broadley and Mark Rocco completing the grid. A little bit of cloud cover, but blue skies and sunshine. A wonderful way to spend a day, particularly if you're at Oulton Park, this brilliant facility run by the MSV group. Away we go. Richard Styring gets away. Now, does he get away well? That's Steve Boyles challenging. Where is Ian Logie? Has Ian Logie got the lead? Yes, he has. Logie leads for the first time. Richard Styring in second. He's beaten away. Off goes Nick Hull. Now, please, not back into the traffic. Plenty of damage already this weekend, but it looks like Nick Hull's managed to survive it. I wonder what his race face is going to look like after that. Cars going along Lakeview for the first time. Nick Hull manages to recover down at the back of the field, but it's Ian Logie in front here. He would dearly love to beat Richard Styring. He finds himself down in second position, so it's 1 and 2, 2 and 1 in the race. Third place Steve Boyles. Will Sharp looking pretty racy at the moment in fourth position. Then Jonathan Greensmith. So this is the first lap. We worked it out that if the race is uninterrupted, you're looking probably at 11 or 12 laps here. They only managed 8 with the safety car in the first race, and there, very sadly off the circuit, is our lady racer, one of our two lady racers, Linda Warren. And Styring into the lead. Richard Styring takes the lead from Ian Logie. Cracking manoeuvre from him. So Logie down to second, and it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2 now. Steve Boyles in third place from Will Sharp. Now, is Richard Styring going to pull away? Proof that Styring can overtake. So up Clay Hill and on his way down towards Druids. So through Druids we go. Richard Styring leading, Ian Logie second. Steve Boyles in 77, the man from Nottingham running in third place under the Palmer Sport Bridge, which brings you from the outside into the paddock. He's coming under big pressure at the moment from Will Sharp. Jonathan Greensmith not letting up either. Now remember that the drivers that didn't do so well in race 1 that were able to get the cars out as off goes David Jones. Jones spins off to the inside. Now, thankfully and hopefully it's not going to be the curse of the commentator. The spins we've seen so far haven't resulted in any damage. Now, I was about to say the drivers that didn't have the luck in race one, who have managed to get their cars out, will be looking to work their way through the field. You can see Nick Hull doing just that. Will Sharp in 66, still putting the pressure on. And a pass for the lead in the 924s going wide. Is Simon Hawksley and Alistair Kirkham looking to try and make it a double. Goes through into the class lead. Back with Steve Boyles though, still coming under pressure. Ian Logie looks like he's not really getting away from Boyles at the moment as the car's round the wonderfully slightly banked Shell Oils corner. Sharp still piling the pressure on, down into Britain's turn 7, 8 and 9 on this just over 2.5 mile international circuit. Then the undulations continue with the climb up over Hilltop and down into Hislops, which is turn 11, turn 10, 11, 12 is Knickerbrook, the last part of the perceived chicane there, and then the climb up Clay Hill. So through there and up the hill, Richard Styron still getting away and setting fastest laps once again. The pace slightly slower than it was in race number 1. Now, good to see Linda Warren back on circuit, and Linda now the first of the drivers to be passed, running at the moment 10th in class, having recovered the car, and some very good driving from Linda, keeping out of the way of the Boxsters. So Linda, the lady from Harrogate, who has just done, this is her second race so far this year. Good to, as we said, very, very good to see her back on track. And I'm sure she'll be climbing up the order with a few more races under her belt. Back with the lead of the 924s, and it's still Simon Hawksley chasing. Hen Sharp seems to have got his problems now sorted out in the 64 car and running well. RJ Josh, of course, working his way through the field too at the moment. There, meanwhile, is Sean Siddle. Good to see Sean racing, car number 11. MD of Siddle & Sons, show retailers, and did some motocross when he was much younger. Comes from Holt and an exponent of the 924 class, so one of the drivers who's done what the classes are meant to do now and moved up into the Boxsters, and I think very much enjoying his racing. 66, Will Sharp still piling that pressure on. You can see it's really now at the moment a very good three-way scrap for third position, and they're not too far behind Ian Logie in second. Richard Styron building his customary lead at the moment and starting to work on his lap times, of course, with his mirrors relatively empty at the moment. That gives him the chance to concentrate on racing line, build those lap times, and that, of course, is going to aid his getaway from second, third, fourth and fifth positions, which really, you've got to say, could go anywhere at all. Up Clay Hill again, there is Styron. Is he going to add, if you look at the stat sheet, he's had win after win, he's had 3 fastest laps on the bounce. An incredible load of wins as off goes the 64 car. Hen Sharp takes the spin, coming out of Britain's. He's back on the gas very quickly, rejoins the race. Can a DNF in race number 1. The championship perhaps not gone the way he would have liked this year after the blistering pace that he set at Donington Park at the closing round of last year when he and his brother joined the championship. Michael Goodacre still leading the productions, car number 37. So looking for a double win here, Michael Goodacre. It was 7th position overall in race 1. Remarkable performance from the production Boxster. But look at this four-way scrap we've got now for second place. As you can see, Will Sharp now up into third, so Sharp third. Then Steve Boyles down in fourth. Jonathan Greensmith at the back of the quartet will be looking to try and get past. RJ Josh still making progress. There is Rebecca Jackson, the production Boxster championship leader at the moment. Just 10 points clear of Bernie Printy as they came into this meeting. Just the two productions, as you heard in our interview earlier on. So Steve Boyles actually dropping away from Will Sharp just a little bit at the moment. So Will has taken a race and a third, approximately, to get back to his grid position. He's chasing Ian Loggy, and it does look like he's going to put the pressure on Loggy. Let's see if he can do a styring. Looks to the outside line, now goes back to the inside, hard on the brakes, but Ian Loggy doesn't want to see the position, racing hard here. And of course, keeping a few points in the bag for Rick Styring, who's still out front. Through Knickerbrook, up through Clay Hill, towards Druids they go once again. This very spectacular climb. Styring's fastest lap in this one, virtually 85 miles an hour, so very good pace indeed. The production Boxster's lapping in 2 minutes 5, which is nearly 80, and the 924s, the best lap from the 924s, just over 75 miles an hour average. So some very competitive racing to be had as we continue to look at Jonathan Greensmith putting the pressure on. So still reeling off the laps. There is Steve Brown, a very battle-scarred car from race number 1, but a great effort by the team to get that car out. Sean Siddle still chasing him, Styring in the lead. There is Ian Loggy second, Will Sharp third. But look at the battle we've got on for 4th place. Jonathan Greensmith really starting to pile the pressure on Steve Boyles in 77 now. Boyle's the only driver with a 100% starting and finishing record. He's done all the rounds, so this is going to be his 15th race finish of the season, as long as the curse of the commentator doesn't go on him in 77. Boyles hasn't finished lower than 5th place, and he's only had 2 5th place. 5th place is out of the 14 races that we've had so far. Now, in any other championship, by my reckoning, that would be enough to probably secure the championship title. But here, he didn't reckon with Richard Styring at the start of the year. Now, Boyle's getting a little bit defensive, and that's allowing the 2 cars in front to just pull away a little bit. Let's see whether Will Sharp's not close enough at the moment to Ian Loggy, and I'm wondering whether Jonathan Greensmith is close enough to have a go for 4th place on Steve Boyles. It doesn't appear to be the case at the moment, so Greensmith, after an exclusion in race number 1, post-race scrutineering, and these things do happen from time to time, but he's worked his way through pretty quickly. One wonders perhaps whether he's put undue pressure on the tyres in the early stages, and that might have extinguished the charge through the field just a wee bit as they go under the Palmer Sport Bridge once again and head towards Lodge Corner.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Here's the 2nd place car, Ian Loggy. A little bit of breathing space at the moment from Will Sharp in 66, who's on his way perhaps to another podium. He's had a string of those this year. He's been off the boil a little bit, hasn't had a podium since the Zandvoort round, but he seems to be getting back on the case now. Jonathan Greensmith, who's also had podia, in fact as recently as 2 podia and fastest lap at Brands Hatch, a DNF in the 3rd race. But Richard Styring still out front, coming through the field and running well. He's Arjo Josh. Steve Brown in car 60 after that damage in the 1st race. Here he is, having a good one as well. Sean Siddle, you can see in the distance, car number 11. And then Nick Hull after his excursion off the circuit in the 1st lap. So Steve Brown, 33-year-old from Banbury, was Rookie of the Year in the 924s and runner-up that year. 2011 924 champion and moved into the Boxsters last year. Linda Warren giving chase to Rebecca Jackson there, and Rebecca having lapped Linda on her way to 2nd position in the production class. Steve Brown in 7th on the road, having a little bit of a lonely race of it at the moment, but he'll be just happy enough to bring the car home after a very disappointing race 1. It was a very early stages, so at least he's had a good few race laps in this one. But Richard Styring now happening across a little bit more backmarker traffic, which he manages to deal with well. So Richard Styring still in the lead. It's not a huge lead. The other drivers we were saying probably midpoint of the season was starting to close in, but by my mind he's managed to respond to that. The back markers do of course give him a little bit more of a cushion over Ian Logie, who's still running in second. Will Sharp in third. Let's have a look at the lap times between the pair. Logie the quicker of the two drivers, 1:57.3, and Will Sharp's best time 1:57.594. You can see the traffic being dealt with very effectively by the front runners. Steve Boyle's looking a little bit more comfortable at the moment in fourth place, so it does look like he's going to maintain this 100% record of finishing in the top 5. Back markers to deal with, and that's going to allow Jonathan Greensmith maybe to catch up. So past the 924 of Hugh Peart, who moves across. Very good driving from Hugh, allows the Boxsters through. Hugh Peart at the moment running down in 9th place in class. Finds himself a lap down, so it looks like most of the 924s are going to wind up having, I think, a 10-lap race, and Richard Styron on course for 11. Jonathan Greensmith still giving chase. Now past Mark Rocco in the number 9 car. Mark again, great driving, keeps to the inside of the circuit, allows the faster drivers through. Mark, one of the new drivers in the championship this year. Hen Sharp very much involved in battle there with Phil Waters. So Phil Waters in front of him at the moment, and potentially on his way to a podium, but Hen Sharp looks up the inside. Waters gets the squeeze on and goes off onto the dirt, recovers without any damage, so Hen Sharp up to third in class, looking a lot better than the problems he had in race number 1. Steve Boyle's still going too. You can see he's lost ground on Will Sharp now. So Steve Brown working his way through the mix. There again is Mark Rocco. Steve Brown moves over to the inside of the circuit. Rocco's seen him, sticks to the outside. Brown's through, he's going to put a pass in as well on Anthony Mekvinsky. Used to seeing Anthony up on the podium from time to time, of course. So Anthony at the moment 7th in class, down behind John Broadley and Carl Rossin. And Carl in the white 924 just been passed as we're into the closing stages of round 15 of the championship. 3/4 of the season done, 2 rounds left. Cadwell Park, please come and join us on the 21st of September if you're able to, and then the 20th of October Donington Park for 3 races to round off the season. Steve Boyles, now look at this, Greensmith again. The pursuit by Jonathan Greensmith has been absolutely relentless, and Steve Boyles has driven very well. He's driven defensively but quickly as Richard Styron's got his lights on, working his way through the traffic. Phil Waters in front, Waters is past, Hen Sharp the next one. Down the hill come the other 2 Porsches, 2nd and 3rd. Ian Logie still coming under pressure from Will Sharp. Now this is probably a time of the race when the leading positions can do without the back markers. It can't be helped of course, but thinking about the championship points that are in the offing, Steve Boyles should retain 2nd position in the championship by my count, so the stats to be corrected there. Phil Waters going wide, is going to allow the faster drivers through. There is Steve Boyles still running in 4th position. Jonathan Greensmith in 5th. Blue flags being waved for the 924s, and as I say, that's just a warning to let the guys know, and girls of course, in case they don't know the faster cars are coming through, but they will be checking their mirrors and seeing the Boxsters come through. But Richard Styron, look at the lead that he's got now over Ian Logie in 2nd. Now Will Sharp challenging and looks down the inside. Sharp challenging for 2nd place. Was he too far back? Ian Logie giving him room, using a little bit more of the runoff. Richard Styron still out front, and we look back, and I think Ian Logie is still there. Rebecca Jackson now been passed, so Rebecca finds herself a lap down in her production Boxster, but Richard Styron on his way. Ian Logie still in 2nd position. Will Sharp seems to have dropped back, so has Logie had a little bit of a wake-up call there? Maybe he wasn't expecting it, but he seems to have pulled away now from Will Sharp in 3rd place. Around Shell Oils goes Richard Styron, championship leader, race leader, defending champion. And I think we'll have to wait for Cadwell Park to sew up the championship. Over the curbs, through Britons and up over the hill he goes once again. And then down into Knickerbrook, a little bit more backmarker traffic. Simon Hawksley in black running in second in the 924s. I think Richard Styron may well have backed off here. Let's have a look and see whether the gap seems to have come down. It looks to me like around about a second and a half. So up Clayhill for the last time. And into Druids. Here come the battling pair for the 924s. Alistair Kirkham once again in front of Simon Hawksley. They've had a cracking weekend's racing. And it looks like Alistair Kirkham's going to be forced to do another lap. So I don't think Richard Styron's going to be able to lap him here. Styron coming down to Lodge Corner, turn 16, and then it's Dear Leaf, and then the checkered flag. So Richard Styron in car number 1. The Lobson Group back car is going to take the win from his sponsor, Ian Loggy. Here they come, up across the line. There's the checker. The 924s have got another lap to do, so Alistair Kirkham with more work to do. Ian Loggy takes another podium, second for him. Will Sharp looks happy with third. Then across the line goes Steve Boyles. Boyles followed by Jonathan Greensmith. Arjo Josh, great drive from the back of the field to take 6th place. Here's Michael Goodacre. He's running down in 10th in the productions, and it's going to be 2 out of 2. Pole position, 2 fastest laps for Michael as well in car 37. Looks like he's had a lonely last few laps, but this is going to be very good for him. And I wonder if he'll move up to the full race boxsters. Here is the 924 battle. Alistair Kirkham has done it again. Alistair Kirkham, 7th win of the season. Simon Hawksley will come home behind him. Richard Styron's 14 win in 15 races. Every race he's finished, he's won. And Ian Loggy takes 2nd position. Will Sharp in 3rd from Steve Boyles. Then Jonathan Greensmith and Arjo Josh from the back of the pack up into 6th. Great recovery drive from him after those problems in race number 1. Fastest lap once again to Richard Styron. The 924's won once again by Alistair Kirkham from Simon Hawksley and Philip Waters. A double for Michael Goodacre. He got fastest lap 2 in both races. And Rebecca Jackson takes 2nd in the productions.
Race 2 then, much closer than race 1, Rick. That was much tougher for you this time.
Yeah, very much so, and the way the guys have been speaking after that was a great race for the series. Very, very clean, very fair. Ian got an awesome start, and then he was very kind to me, made me getting back past him a bit easy. So Ian's come on great this year. That was a great race for the series.
That's one way of putting it, letting you get back past. I'm not sure that's quite how you let it happen, Ian. I think you would have liked to have kept him back a bit longer.
He is a teammate and he is Logs and sponsored, so if there was anyone I wanted to see winning, was Rick for Logs.
Well, a championship is not too far away from him, but possibly a win for you now. You're slowly getting there, aren't you?
Yeah, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Only a couple of seconds in it now. It used to be 3 seconds a lap, but we're getting there. So maybe next year we can get right on the pace.
Well, you had Stephen to worry about in race 1, and it was very much Will you had to worry about in race 2. That was a nice little battle you had towards the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really nice battle. I've not had the pleasure of racing with Ian really close like that before, but it was nice, clean, close racing. Brilliant, really enjoyed myself. Would have liked to have got 2nd place, but I'm happy for me in 911 Sport, my team, to get with the 3rd place.
And down into turn 1, you were side by side at Ian with one point. It got a little bit close at one stage.
It did. It got really close, and we kind of carried that on all the way down Cascades. But again, if you're racing against somebody that you know is a fair driver, then you can kind of do that. And he kept his line, and we managed to come through it without any problems. So I was really pleased.
Rick Styron continues to lead the championship. Steve Boyles is still 2nd, and Will Sharp just 1 point behind now in 3rd place. Jonathan Greensmith 4th. Arjo Josh up to 5th now ahead of Steve Potts. In the 924 Productions, Alistair Kirkham clear of Simon Hawksley with Anthony McVinsky up to 3rd. And in the productions, Rebecca Jackson continues to lead from Bernie Princey with Julian Brown in 3rd.